Market recap for Thursday, the 2nd of April, 2026. But today's basically like a miracle fam. We've seen a low resistance liquidity run in New York, right? When the last time I've seen this? It's been months and months, right? It's crazy, right? Let's explain the day. Let's get to what my thought process was and what did I expect. Well, today I expected the distribution to be lower, right? In terms of when the market is closed on Wednesday. But as you can see, Asia's already basically done that. My main target was getting to these lows, and that doesn't mean that Thursday has to do it, but Thursday could start the push down, and then NFP could carry on. But we just seen that NFP is on a bank holiday, so that delivery down is most likely going to be on Monday, right? I do believe that this just more of a time distortion, right? Rather than dumping straight away. So if I believe that we're gonna go higher to go lower, right? Or either there was three scenarios for today. Let me explain. One, we could open so bearish, which means right here we just dump down to this liquidity right here and then start going back up in a high resistance liquidity where we stole. NFP opens up, goes back here, and then we continue to dump to these lows and get to the weekly opening gap, right? That's scenario one. Scenario two is we go up, we stall, and then start heading down, take this liquidity. Scenario three is we go and complete this market maker buy model, right? This is the original consolidation, and then go ahead and take these highs, right? So because these highs were relatively equal, right? And I was surprised that they left them like that and then dumped. So these are all the three possibilities. What does that make us, right? So if we have them two possibilities, the highest likely thing is that the market is going to do this, which get into here, or if it's scenario one, it would just dump straight away. So I'm looking at both of them as the means to get into the trade, right? How do we react of this SIBI, right? Because normally, if we're gonna dump, we would have no pullback here. We just open and just straight dump, right? So I need to rule that scenario out, okay? And on top of that, we should have no reason to get to our opening range gap quadrants, and we had a large range opening gap, right? Cool. So now let's put a lipstick on the chart and let's get into 1 minute, right? This is the discount of this range. I mean, the whole weekly range. And this is the discount at this lower run down here, right? So highest probability is getting to that discount if we rule the dump out, right? If it's gonna dump, then we need to rule it out, right? So what happens at 9:30? Right there. Cool. We open, and this gives us our opening range gap quadrants, right? All the way till the close there. So if we're gonna do the scenario where we're gonna dump straight away, then we have no interest of hitting this before 10. Okay? Because if we hit this before 10, then this is dumping down is ruled out, right? Automatically. And then I'm looking at either scenario one where we hit this or scenario two where we hit this, right? Highest probability is hitting this in terms of both scenarios, right? So I will try to take a trade to discount and to that unfilled 15-minute gap on the 15-minute. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so once the market opens, I'm trying to rule out which scenario, what are we gonna do, right? This right there is a 15-minute SIBI. Like that's the last thing that would hold us to go down. And market opens up right here. We do close above it on the 1 minute, but I don't really care about 1 minute closes right? I need to see the 5 minute. The 5 minute is important for me, as in like, okay, are we really closing above it or not? As you can see, we don't close above it in the 5 minute, and the 15 minute we don't close above it. So cool. However, the fact that we did this, right? If we're gonna be truly bearish, look, we would open up, maybe we'd have this wick, but this candle would make a fair value, like a large one, right? It would literally instantly go down like a large, and then it'll make a large fair value gap closing below this. Then once it retraces, I'll take that any day. But as you can see, it doesn't do that. So I'm waiting, right? We create our first presented fair value gap right here. And, you know, you might say, okay, if I'm looking for lower targets, well, there's at least the initial buy side midpoint of the range, and going from that, why would you not take that? It's not the time yet. It's not the time to take it, right? Because by now, scenario one is kind of pulled out, and there could be a fourth scenario where we come down lower, um and start using this to go lower, right? So this is all I'm waiting for. I'm just weighing all the stuff out. Is this real, right? Because to me, I'm like, cool, institution order floor entry drill into the first presented fair value gap. We touch it again, and then we dump. Right? I'm watching. I'm watching two things. Are we gonna have SMT, right? Are we gonna just sweep this low and come back, right? I'm hesitant on the short. Why? Because I don't need to enter so early, right? There is a lot of distance, right? If we really want to go lower, there's almost 300 handles, right? For me to capture. I don't need to get early until it's confirmed, right? And why would I say it's not fully confirmed? Because if you look at the 15 minute, we're holding this low 15 minute gap, and it's the same thing. I'm trying to see, do we close below that? Are we truly bearish, right? So if you look at it, the 5 minute does have a slight close, but I didn't like it. It wasn't really meaningful, okay? It wasn't meaningful at all. And on top of that, nothing on ES is showing me that is bearish, right? ES is all the way up here, and I can see once we get there, ES just took these little lows, right? Nothing significant. YM normally would be the leader in a move like this, and YM at that time isn't really going down like that, right? So I still have to wait, right? Because, for example, if we come down here, I'm watching these gaps. What happens? Do we come up, and then do we make this order block? And then for me, that's something that I would use to go lower for sure. But because we haven't done that, right? We come all the way low, and then I'm waiting, and now it's basically around time, right? I'm waiting for basically 9:40. You can see we're here. I'm waiting for this retracement. We go overshoot it, right? That is questionable. If we're really bearish, why we're going that high? So now I'm just watching, I'm watching. And then we do this, right? We come back. I can see this candle. Now I'm watching if there's any SMT. There's no SMT. I'm a bit questionable with it, but the time, once this candle does this, I'm like, okay, we have 15 minutes. Do I think in 15 minutes we'll get to this lower quadrant, which means before 10, right? I'm gauging and looking at the whole structure. If we're truly bearish, this shouldn't happen. So I was like, you know what? F it, right? Because we have one sell side, we have one, two, three, and four buy side liquidity, right? This is PM high and lunch high. So what does that mean? We actually might be bullish for the day. So I'm ruling out this, and that means the market is likely to seek at least discount, right? So I was like, you know what? Cool. Once this candle closes, I have a limit on this order block. Then we do this. I'm like, okay, we actually might be very likely to hit this before 10. So I'm like, okay, let me try get on the move. We close above the first presented fair value gap and then create this fair value gap. I have a limit order right there. I enter. This candle moves up and I'm like, because we're gonna be so fast. I don't want it, I still don't want to have the risk of it coming lower to the original entry, right? Because this technically should be a breakaway gap in a normal low resistance liquidity run markets. And remember, I'm saying we haven't seen these type of runs in months, right? So that's why I'm so like wary basically about it. I'm like, yo, break even instantly, right? I'm not fully confident in the trade yet. And then I was basically waiting for this first candle that like tries to really go down. And I see it's holding. And this holds and then goes above this, creating this breaker block. I mean, not breaker, order block. Boom, that's my entry. Stop loss at the low. This candle closes above, stop loss at break even instantly because we don't have time. Look at this. We have 8 minutes to get to the upper quadrant. I mean lower quadrant of the opening range gap. And as you can see, boom, break away, come back, and then hit it. Then I'm like, alright, that's perfect. We're gonna hit this basically 100% at this point, and the the trade is safe. So that was, I mean, I originally should have had it here, but I was not confident. I got taken out break even, but the re-entry is here, and the TP was at midpoint. So 175 points in 49. That's 20 minutes. 22 minutes to be exact. Not too bad. I haven't seen that in a while. That's all I'm saying. So clean delivery from price. And once we get to here, then all bets are off, right? Because we're at the midpoint of our opening range gap. If this day was going to be bearish, we would have stalled here all the way till around 10:50 and then start dumping. Because remember, we have no SMT, there's nothing. So I do believe we're going to come back to these lows. It's just because that we have NFP and it's bank holiday basically, or Good Friday or whatever. It's not gonna do it now. So we repriced higher, making sure everybody that was on the short is out. We're probably gonna take it out again with NFP, right? Look at these relative equal highs. We'll take that on an NFP and then the market will close. Then on Monday, we're just gonna launch it straight back down. That's what I believe is gonna happen, right? And if we launch it straight back down, then that means we wouldn't take previously weekly high, because I said I wouldn't like this high to be taken, otherwise the shorts don't make sense. And if that high doesn't get taken, then and if Monday starts to dump, then I believe next week doesn't go higher. It actually goes all the way lower to take previous weekly low, right? So think of this week as just repricing or whatever, right? And then going straight back down. But I guess it's nice to see low resistance liquidity runs again in New York. It's been a minute. But yeah, that's the market recap. There isn't really much to the day to explain. It was just waiting here for one scenario to be done. Once it's got invalidated, potential entry, but the market was too bullish to even offer a wick on that body, right? Look at that. Doesn't offer me that little entry right there. That would have been nice. And goes, you get the other entry from the first presented fair value gap, which I break even on it, and then the last and third entry is on that order block. If you missed that, bro, you missed the train, and it's straight to DPs after that. So yeah, that's the market recap. There isn't really much to it. And like I said, if Friday wasn't Good Friday, bank holiday on FB, Friday would NFP would have taken us higher, right? Most likely, and by 9:30, around 9:50 actually, then we'll start the dump lower all the way to the lows, and we'll take literally everything. This whole run, low resistance higher, and it will be low resistance lower, and it will be slightly more than these lows, right? But yeah, that's the market recap. Peace out.